Elon Musk subtly drops big news for Tesla stock investors. And it seems like Wall Street just doesn't notice this yet, which could be an opportunity, as Tesla stock is only up 0.36% today, but more on exactly why Tesla is moving higher in just a few moments. Nick Cruz on X says you will be able to buy both of these Tesla products for around $60,000. Let that sink in. Elon Musk reposts this and says, we need to reach over 1 million per year production volumes, but long term, yes. So I don't know if it can get clearer than that, but Elon Musk says that for both of these products, the Cybercab and Optimus, Tesla plans to reach over 1 million units per year. Let's keep things so simple it's stupid. And if Tesla is able to reach 1 million per year for production on Optimus and the Cybercab, assuming both of these $60,000 put together, so 60,000 times 2 million is $120 billion of revenue, which alone would double Tesla's business, a little bit more than double Tesla's business. That's again not to mention the service revenue that Optimus will bring in, as well as a actual robotaxi network. That's why I say, guys, there's really no limit to Tesla stock right now because there's so much growth long-term in the company. You do not want to bet against Tesla. Even as the stock has went up a lot, there's a justifiable reason that the stock should be much higher than even where it is today. And I actually think Elon Musk confirming that Tesla's shooting for 1 million Optimus bots of production per year and 1 million Cybercabs per year, longer term, obviously in production, is big news that Wall Street is just not understanding yet. And it wouldn't surprise me if this is a bit of a delayed effect. We've seen this before where Elon will say something on X and we sit here and we're like, wow, that's actually big news. Wall Street doesn't get it at first, and then over the coming days, it kind of circulates throughout Wall Street and Tesla stock reacts to it. I think this is kind of one of those scenarios where it wouldn't surprise me if Wall Street understands what Elon just said over the coming days and Tesla stock moves higher on that. But obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a fortune teller. I don't know what Wall Street is going to latch on to or what kind of gets shoved to the side. But this does seem like big news to me. That said, Tesla stock is moving up about 1/3 today. It has been very volatile, really because of two different reasons. Clearly, first and foremost, Nvidia. Now, Nvidia was like the sweet spot, okay? There wasn't a big disappointment, and Nvidia confirmed that there's really demand, at least for the next year, that Nvidia can't even meet. Like, there's excess demand out there. So for anyone that was fearing maybe a bad quarter from Nvidia or really bad guidance from Nvidia, that did not happen. And it's really confirmation that the AI bull market lives on. I mean, let's just think about this. Nvidia, they don't have a problem with demand. They have a problem with supply. That's a good problem to have if you have so much demand, you just can't produce enough. Now, at some point that turns into a bad problem, but at this point that seems like a good problem to have. And it's really boosting confidence in other areas of our markets, right? Other, let's say, AI stocks. Look at Elastic today, one of those, AI data trades, up 6% heading into their earnings. I mean, look at Applied Digital. Yes, that stock's been volatile, data center trade, but it is generally moving higher today. You're seeing this with a lot of your second, third, fourth tier AI stocks that are benefiting from Nvidia earnings, even though Nvidia was red for most of the day today. Now, what it's also doing for the broader markets, in which I think it'll have an effect on Tesla as well, it's taking the spotlight off of Nvidia a bit. Now, Nvidia has really been the stock you have to own, you have to buy Nvidia. I don't agree with that. I think you'll do just fine if you don't own Nvidia at this point. I think a lot of the gains are baked into the stock. But Nvidia has grown to be such a large company where when Nvidia goes up, it kind of sucks the liquidity out of other areas of our markets. Now, Nvidia earnings, they were great. I mean, the guidance was still good, not as much as expected, and it really confirms the AI bull market is intact. So what's going on? There's really not an urgency to go out and rush into Nvidia today. Capital is moving into other areas of our markets, in which I think this will benefit Tesla, even though it might take a little bit of time. Now, if we look at the RSP, this is the equal weight S&P, you're up 1.34% today. The average stock in the S&P is actually soaring today. That is because of Nvidia. And some of you guys are like, Nvidia's, was down 1 to 2% today for most of the day. How is that happening? Well, as I just explained, capital is moving into other areas. So if you're a stock picker, odds are you're loving today. Now, again, I do think this will benefit Tesla at some point, although I think it's going to take some time for Wall Street to kind of venture into some of those hyperscalers again in larger numbers. I think Tesla's a little bit different, revolves around news, and Tesla has rallied a lot recently. So I think you've kind of been in this digestion phase for a while, and really any time now, I wouldn't be surprised to see Tesla stock go through a large rally, but we'll talk about that more in the next video. And here we can see today we're getting an up close look at the rear cargo space in the Cybercab, which looks to be pretty large. We are hearing today the new Genesis GV70 has a native NACS port in the grille. It goes on sale in the first half of 2025, which is definitely a different style of approach. Tesla's supercharger network is now officially open to Nissan EVs throughout the US and Canada. Nissan EVs will now be able to charge at over 17,800 Tesla superchargers throughout North America. Tesla has put the Cybercab on display at its Tyson's Corner Tyco Road store in Virginia. As of last night, Tesla is offering 3 months of supercharging and 3 months of FSD supervised if you take delivery of any new Tesla by the end of this year. That includes all sexy cars and the Cybertruck that are eligible for buyers in North America. Tesla previously only offered this promotion on inventory new car purchases, but now it's any new car purchase. Tesla has also released new salt and pepper shakers made from stainless steel for $65. It looks like these things come apart and then come back together using a magnet. Tesla has also released Cybertruck door projection lights for $75. It projects a little Cybertruck logo onto the ground when you open the door, includes 2 easy to install lights for the front driver and passenger side doors. Now, the second reason why markets are generally moving higher today, you're really getting a broadening out of our markets, is lower US initial jobless claims. They rose 213,000. The estimate was 220,000. Previous week was 219,000. This was the lowest week since May 24th of 2024. So this is kind of reinforcing that soft landing narrative. And at this point, now that Nvidia has reported earnings, your major catalysts are really over with for this year. Now, yes, there's some uncertainty about what the Fed is going to do, if they're going to cut rates, if they're going to pause. It's going to come down to the data. So data is still going to be very important throughout the rest of this year. But I think generally speaking, we're in a better position to handle the Fed maybe not cutting rates as much. Now, yes, in 2025, that's where there's a lot of mixed expectations. For 2025, at least through July, the markets are pricing in 2 rate cuts. From the start of 2025 through July, only 2 cuts. Like, at one point, we were pricing in like 10 to 12 cuts for next year. We're not there anymore, okay? So the markets are in a better position to handle less rate cuts. Now, there is a 61.3% chance of a Fed cut December 18th. Whatever is priced in over 50% coming down to the actual Fed meeting is what the Fed is going to do. Now, as long as we don't get crazy hot economic data or really hot inflation data, the Fed's going to still cut rates December 18th, okay? So I think you're in kind of a sweet spot here for markets, unless the data gets dramatically better or dramatically worse. I see a very strong bull case here. But yes, I do expect at some point in 2025, you are going to get a growth scare. There will be a period in time where everyone's going to say, are we really going to have a soft landing? This jobs report just came in bad, or that retail sales number just came in bad. Eventually, you will get bad data. There will be a bit of a freak out in markets. You will get a correction based on that at some point, likely in early 2025. But I mean, throughout the rest of this year, or the next month or so, are we going to get data that questions a soft landing? I'm not confident enough to say that. Now, at the same time, we haven't priced in a lot of these negative Trump policies. We've priced in good Trump policies like lower corporate taxes and more M&A activity, right? That's what's kind of boosted markets higher in recent weeks. We haven't priced in what a China-US trade war could look like, in which that actually happened in 2018, and the S&P fell about 20% heading into Christmas Eve, when you ultimately bottomed as Trump and China universally kind of backed down at the same time. Okay, so we kind of already know the playbook for that, and I think that'll be an issue as we start 2025. And ultimately, that could help cause some of the correction that we likely get in the beginning of 2025. There's a lot of people out there saying, you know, buy the Santa Claus rally, markets go higher into year end, but sell the inauguration, which is in late January. And I mean, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy, so watch out for that. But in the meantime, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla regains new all-time highs and could be a $450 stock or so. Now, at that point, even if we get a correction, do we come all the way back down to where we are today at $343 per share or so? Probably not. Possibly, but probably not. So this still doesn't look like a bad area to be buying Tesla, given all of the new information that we have. And again, for like the 10th day in a row, option activity for Tesla is very positive. You have 120 different trades totaling $52.02 million with a positive order value of 86%. Now, a lot of days were over 90+% positive. So today's a little bit lower, but you're still 86% positive from hedge funds and institutions. That is a very bullish number. Do not forget that. You have short interest on free float at 2.8%, $26.75 billion sold short in Tesla stock. It seems like that number continues to climb. 78.2 million shares that are currently sold short. And it does look like about 850,000 shares today have been covered on. So it does look like there is some shorts covering on short positions today, which I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to be short in Tesla either. Sentiment over on StockTwits also looks strong. You're coming in bullish today at 59. Yesterday, you were bullish at 57. Message volume today is low at 43. Yesterday was normal at 45. And the participation ratio today is high at 55. Google Trends data today for the United States specifically, since that has been the area of weakness. I really want to watch the US as we get deeper into this quarter, because it's going to give us a better understanding of what Tesla deliveries are likely going to look like. Okay. And we're seeing good things so far. Again, you're really seeing a ramp up in all Tesla products, but the ones that are important are the Model Y and the Model 3. The Model Y has went from 22 to 29. The Model 3 has went from 18 to 23. So overall, solid numbers that you are seeing on Google Trends. The Cybertruck is falling. I expect it would fall because you were already at really high search trend levels. And just when you're comparing previous, super high search trend levels to like where we are today, as long as you're not continuing to see, the trends going higher and higher and higher, you're ultimately going to get trends that fall, even though you could see relatively the same overall amount of searches for the Cybertruck. Okay. It's kind of like Nvidia, that maybe in a year from now, their growth rate isn't that impressive. Even though Nvidia is doing more business, or in this case, it's like the Cybertruck is getting similar amount of searches. You're just coming off of a really high place, so the overall level is falling, but it still looks really good. If we take a look at worldwide Google Trends data for Tesla, same kind of story. The Model Y and the Model 3 have recently jumped. Model Y at 37, Model 3 at 34, Model S at 13, Model X at 9, which are high levels for even where we were, let's say, in the summertime, right? These are really good. But I think the US is really important. If we're going to have a super strong quarter for Tesla, you gotta see strength in the US, and that's why I'm paying attention to that specifically. CNN's Fear and Greed Index is back into greed territory, coming in at 59, whereas yesterday you were neutral at 50, so definitely looks strong there. Market momentum is greed, stock price strength is fear, stock price breadth, extreme fear, put and call options, extreme greed, market volatility is neutral, safe haven demand is greed, and junk bond demand is extreme greed. The percent of stocks currently trading above their 50-day moving average also having a really good day, up to 58.41%. You actually have 3.82% of all stocks breaking above their 50-day moving average today. So it's a really good day for the average stock out there in our markets. And you can see here the Russell 2000 is up 2%. The Dow is up 1.2%. This is precisely what I expected to happen following Nvidia earnings last night. Go ahead and rewatch that video. I expected the Russell and the Dow would outperform if Nvidia had or just held up. Didn't crash, didn't rocket higher, but just held up. You're seeing money move into other areas of our markets. Okay, that's a good sign. The VIX is down 1.2% today, not as much as you would expect, and I think that's because you are seeing that weakness in some of your Mag 7 names. Now, bonds today, 10-year treasury yields largely unchanged. Oil is actually moving higher, up 1.64% on some fears of, continued spiraling in the Russia-Ukraine war, although I'm not concerned about that. Obviously, oil traders are a little bit. Gold is up almost 1% today. Bitcoin is up 4% to $98,000. I want to watch specifically around $100,000. Do we blow past $100,000, or is that a short-term top for Bitcoin? That, I think, will be very important, especially for some stocks that you guys like MSTR, right? If you stall out around 100,000, maybe fall a little bit, get some consolidation, that would definitely be bad for those Bitcoin proxies. That said, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to go ahead and conclude this video. We will have a more in-depth breakdown on Tesla and really what the technicals look like, because they look good here in the next video. So join us then at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you guys want to come trade with us live in real time, check out that link down below in the description of this video as well. You guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe out there, and I will see you in the next one.